Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we are rounding out the robe feats with the Adept of the Red Robes.
Which is the third option of the initiative high sorcery options that you can pick from. This is the Lunatari. I'm gonna go to Lunatari. We're sticking with it. Which that option gave you Color Spray, Disguise Self, Other Fallen, Long Strider, which was probably the weakest list. List I don't really want to take the most. But this feat actually is pretty solid, and it's definitely worth getting the prereq for it, because it gives you some pretty cool stuff. So this is, again, Shadow of the Dragon Queen gave us these. If the backgrounds give free feats, those backgrounds are really busted compared to regular backgrounds. So unless everyone's getting a free background feat, don't use the backgrounds to get this access to free initiative high sorcery as a prereq for this. Instead, you can just use a prereq where it's wizards and sorcerers get this. So anyway, wizards and sorcerers can take initiative high sorcery. That builds into Adept of the Red Robe. And Adept of the Red Robe says you choose the moon, Lunatari, to influence your magic, and your dedication to maintaining the balance between all things has been recognized by the Order of the Red Robes, granting you these benefits. Insightful magic. You learn one second level spells of your choice. The second level spell must be from the Illusion or Transmutation School of Magic. You can cast this feat's second level spell without a spell slot and must finish a long rest before you can cast it again in this way. You can cast this spell using spell slots you have the appropriate level. This spell's casting ability is the one chosen when you get Initiative High Sorcery, which is Int Wizard Charisma. It's just Int or Charisma depending on if you're a wizard or sorcerer, basically. Then it also has this really cool feature called Magical Balance. When you make an attack roll or an ability check and roll a 9 or lower on the d20, you can balance fate and treat the roll as a 10. You balance fate a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regaining all uses when you finish a long rest. Which I think sounds better than it is, but it
I don't
still
think
is
it sounds that
pretty
great.
decent. So the region mask, so 10s are, we'll start with Magical Balance. 10s on upper tier characters tend to hit. 10s on upper tier characters, when you're adding +7, +8 to attack rolls, are normally hitting ACs of 16 plus, which is a lot of the mid tier monsters. Up tier monsters are sitting normally sub 22 AC, which means a 10 is going to be a common die roll where you're like, yeah, I'm hitting with this. This makes it so if you're making spell attack rolls, it can be pretty solid. The trick there is there are very few spell attacks in this game, almost none of upper level, and the ones at lower levels are not even remotely worth casting. If you're doing like Crown of Stars, this seems fine as a way to make your Crown of Stars hit more often, because that's kind of the best spell attack roll in the game. Beyond that, you're like a Scorching Ray build, I guess, to weaponize this. And if you're not doing the attack roll stuff
Ray of
with it,
Frost.
Ray of Frost. This also quickly will be noted on Blades, it doesn't say spell attack roll, it just lets you change any attack roll. So on Blade Singers specifically, characters that are you making weapon attacks, this is substantially better. So you're exactly the Blade Singer, this is very excellent at being able to be like, oh, I rolled a 6 for the first time in my life, or better yet, I rolled like a 2, now I'll take a 10, thanks though. I rolled a 1, no, I'm good, I'm gonna take a 10. Very powerful, high impact, guaranteeing yourself hits. Very useful on exactly the Blade Singer. On everyone else, is a little bit more suspect.
And for what it's worth, it also says ability check rolls. So.
Yeah, if you're that does actually matter quite a bit too, right? You'll have moments where we really can't afford for my investigation check to be a 1 here. You switch to a 10 and you get +6 or whatever to it, and now you've succeeded as opposed to failing. 10 is normally enough to be a success on moderate above checks, things that you're good at. I would recommend spending it on things you're good at, not things you're adding like +2 or less to, because those are still likely to fail. But if you're adding +6, +7, +8 to something, Magical Balance will be like, oh, failure is now a success.
Well,
And
the
that is
thing is,
genuinely good.
you pretty much know if it's going to fail or not, right? Or no, I guess you don't know what you need to hit, but
Assuming
um,
you can save these for like 5 and belows, and you can assume DCs are ranging from like 13 to 15 for moderate DCs and above 15 for harder ones. Again, if it's a really important check, it's pretty easy just to say I got a 5 here. Yeah, I'm not taking that 11. I'm taking this to a 16 or whatever.
yeah, I don't know that. I guess, yeah, it's probably more impactful than I give it credit for, but it just doesn't get me excited. Also, you know what? I don't like the flavor either, because that's not putting things into balance. That is throwing off balance.
Yeah,
It's not like if you roll above a 10,
it
you
becomes a 10.
you switch that to 10. No, that's balance.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so no, thank you.
Fair. Flavor fail for Bob. I think this kind of feature is innocuous but powerful. We've seen Portent be really game breaking. This is important. Portent is a wizard feature that lets them, diviner feature that lets them get 3 dice that they preload every single long rest that they then on the next adventure can swap d20s for the rolled results, which is bananas good. Like, it's crazy powerful how Horton just can warp games by making it big bad's unable to hit. You're critting exactly when you want to sometimes. Like, every single roll value is good and important. Magical balance is just you have your proficiency bonus number of 10s to use for that. And it only affects you, which is a lot less. But like, it still can be quite good, especially on, again, Blade Singers who can turn it into attack rolls as well.
Yeah.
But that's not like that is half of the feat probably, because the other half is you get a second level illusion
All
transmutation
right.
spell of your choice.
Completely forgot about that.
And that's really good.
Yeah.
Just a free second level spell slot with an extra learned illusion transmutation spell is excellent. And like, invisibility is an easy one to say, oh yeah, this is a very powerful, easy illusion spell to pick up. But like, there are other existing options that you can consider and not be super disappointed in them. Such as,
do you have the list handy?
I had it and then I may have closed the tab by accident. So we're getting it right now. Let's see, illusion, check, and transmutation, check. Filter spells, nailed it. Oh God, buying for time, so good at this. So you have like, thanks. I just fill the time with useless, empty words. Alter Self is an awful option you can consider. Barkskin is actually kind of cute. It's concentration and gives you AC of 16. Or it's a willing creature gets an AC of 16 too. So you can like just stick this on your monk if they have a bad AC or something like that. That's kind of cute. You can take Dragon's Breath is apparently a transmutation spell that gives you a little cone of damage. That's pretty neat. There's Enlarge Reduce, which is not my personal favorite, but I do know there are some really big fans of Enlarge Reduce's fantasy. Getting it for use of that makes it quite a bit better. Mirror Image is interesting. I haven't found it ever plays that well, but it's at least a neat, cute little defensive feature. And again, getting it for free alongside what I find to be a powerful effect anyway, especially on something like a Blade Singer, that seems like if you want to be like the Mirror Knight teleporting around and doing a whole bunch of cool stuff, that seems like a slam dunk, right? Beyond that, there's like Phantasmal Force is fine. Silence is pretty great. I'm always happy to take Silence. There's Spike Growths on this list too. There's a good chunk. Even like Rope Trick. Rope Trick is an innocuous little hidey hole that you can go into. I just rattled off a bunch of them. I'm happy with basically any of them. And we haven't even mentioned Aether's Mischief, which is a cute little spell that we both like a lot that deserves more uses, and this is a way to get extra use of it. So let's just say Encyclopedic is excellent and is reason enough to be like, yeah, this is fine. And then you're basically comparing Magical Balance to the, the other feats that are Fey Touch, Shadow Touch that give you a first level spell instead. So is Magical Balance worth a first level once per long rest known spell? I think the answer is absolutely yes, and it's why this is a very high option for me. I think this is a great, if not the best, it's close to the best of the three robe options, just because the damage one's really interesting because it uses your hit dice to do damage. But this one, at least, is really consistent, and on the builds that want it, can really make a lot of good happen from it.
Yeah, I think it's probably really good too, but something I'm probably never going to take. Just that magical balance just doesn't sit right with me. It bores me.
You're a fan of when dice do random wacky things. This says I don't want dice to do random wacky things. I want to be consistent.
I guess I haven't given it that much thought. It just does not excite me.
That's fair. Not everything's going to. I know a lot of people that do get very excited by this. This is not a feature I enjoy personally playing with. I find that I start to feel like a control freak. I start to feel like a DM when I'm playing if I'm using features like this where I go, no, actually my dice says this now. It just makes me feel like a jerk. So I don't personally like to use these kinds of features. I truly like
that's a reason I would like to do it.
I'd be like, actually, DM, I'm changing this from a 3 to a 10. Thank you very much. I'm in charge here. Yeah, no, I hate that feeling, so I don't like these kinds of effects. But again, that's entirely my personal preference. It has nothing to do with the game balance of it. It has nothing to do with like its performance. I think this feature will perform very well for the people that want it.
Probably, yeah. Myself, you get the spells. You get one second level spell. Is that right?
Second level spell of your choice. Yes.
Yeah, I'd probably go with an option that just gives you more spells.
Yeah, go with Shadow Touch or Faith Touch. Get that Misty Step plus one other, or the Invisibility plus one other. The fact that it overlaps Invisibility is a little bit of a bummer, right? Because he's like, oh, I already can get Invisibility somewhere, but it's still, I think, fine. I think if you want like Spike Growth, this is a great place to get Spike Growth at. If you want Silence, this is a great place to get Silence.
Spike Growth's a good sell. Yeah.
Especially because like Spike Growth isn't innately a Wizard Sorcerer spell, so it's something you can build a Wizard Sorcerer around, which is pretty cool. I don't know exactly what that build looks like because a lot of the movement stuff is concentration, but you can still probably find some cool stuff to do in that direction that I think could make it fun. If you have any of the second level transmutation or illusion spells that aren't invisibility, you can probably take this as an extra means of sort of locking it into your aesthetic, your build, and then get a little bit of extra juice from it and be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Like, even just the ability checks are going to be good.
All right. Well, you got anything else to say about this?
I think it's genuinely quite powerful.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm sure it is. Just not for me.
That's fair. I think I might underrate this, and that's me giving it a 4. I think that it is a magical balance giving you 3 or 4 resets on dice. We know is a powerful mechanic. We've seen game warping effects of Lucky. We've seen game warping effects of the Divine Air's Portent feature. We know changing dice rolls to values that succeed automatically is a really, really powerful effect. And this gets a lot of them. 10 isn't always hitting, though. And spell attacks aren't common. So the builds that want this are going to be like exclusively attack-based. On those builds, it should be pretty excellent, close to game breaking. On builds that are like doing it fairly for ability checks, it's probably fine. So that's why I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, wow. I mean, those are the reasons, when you oh, I'm not talking right. When you're a sorcerer or wizard and you've got no spells to roll attacks with, then yeah, I feel like I was overrating it with a 3.
I don't think so. I think the instances where the ability rolls matter, being able to say, no, that doesn't fail, like a stealth check. Being able to say that one didn't happen is really important whenever it matters. So, like, I think magical balance is the real deal.
A stealth check. You're making it sound even worse. This is yeah, all right. I'll stick confidently with my 3.
All right. I think you're underrating how powerful a 10 can be.
Yeah, probably. Almost certainly. But the more you talk about it, the worse I like it.
Sure.
You had me going for a little while, but not anymore.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot to talk about. So down in the comments, you should talk more about it.
Maybe I am overrating it. Maybe Bob's right. Maybe the 10 is just not good enough. I doubt it, but let me know.
All right. All right. That was Adept of the Red Robes. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Leave us some comments down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.